ready to run some hoops. So,
Oh, you were okay.
they're doing the morning runs up at the gym on campus where I work. And so, they start around 6:30. I figured I might probably want to get there around 7 so I could, pack a gym bag, walk my dog, feed him before I, go to work. Cool. Go, you know, I wake up this morning, I roll over, I look at my phone, and I see a trade has been completed. I
Oh
said, "Oh,"
boy.
I said,
Oh
"Who?"
boy.
I said, "Wait a minute, a trade's been completed. I'm the commissioner of this fine league. Let me go take a look at a trade that's happening in my league." Danny,
Mm-hmm.
let me just make sure I find it. Just make sure I find it correctly.
You're gonna have to scroll. You're gonna do a lot of scrolling.
Ladies and gentlemen, this morning I woke up to a trade in a 10 team, 1 QB PPR league, Dynasty League, that Jalen Waddle had been traded for Dalvin Cook, Cortland Sutton, Josh Downs, and a 2026 second round pick. And I sat there and I said, now who would do this? Who would do this? Of course, it's my favorite trader, maybe my favorite trader, and I don't mean traitor, I mean trader. My favorite, my favorite fantasy trader of all time. Bam. And so I sat there and I said, this is absolutely one of the most god awful trades. No, this is absolutely one of the most one sided trades I have ever seen in my life. Bam, WTF. But I was also like, I don't even want someone else to think that this is what a good wide receiver. This is not what his asking price is in this league. So I just kindly asked everyone in the league to just message literally anything so that if you wanted to find that trade, you would have to scroll very, very far up. And for those who didn't hear, this trade that I am referring to, again, Jalen Waddle. This is a 1 QB PPR dynasty league. Danny, am I wrong?
And there is no tight end premium.
There is no tight end premium. Jalen Waddle had been traded for Dalvin Cook, Cortland Sutton, Josh Downs, in a 2026 second round pick. That's all. Listen, that's all I'm gonna say.
I don't tell people how to run their organizations. I just hope both GMs are happy. Bam, I sent you a message. Please respond.
Um, Danny, oh man. But anyway, that's how my day started. And I'm gonna be honest with you, as I drove to the gym to hoop this morning, I just kept laughing at that trade because I said, only Bam, only Bam. Bam, I say that because I think you could have got a way better deal than that. You just
I
Bam.
would have offered you way more than that for Jalen. I didn't know he was up for sale.
Hey man, you know what, Danny? The more I look at my roster in this particular league, the more I'm very content on just rolling with my draft picks. Although I am, if anyone is interested in Stephon Diggs, Danny, Stephon Diggs.
You want to talk? I have 12 picks from combined this year, next year. We have slowly been accumulating assets. The
Who do
theme
you
is
listen?
roster flexibility over here.
Roster flexibility. Listen, what would you say? No, no, Jamie, he lost Waddle for free. Danny, what would you say to what would your offer be for Stephon Diggs?
I don't know yet, so I'm gonna be honest. I'm going big game hunting. Stephon Diggs is not a big fish. I got
Mm,
my eyes on like 3 fish right now, and the owners of those fish are playing with me, and I don't appreciate it because I'm serious and I have the ammo to get whoever I want.
okay. Well, who on my team could I get for 209?
For 209. Ooh. Well, I've wanted A Chain since I let him go, but I know Are you one of those people? Because I forgot who I was trying to trade with, and they were like, everyone on the bench is available, everyone in the starting lineup is not. Like,
Um,
where'd you get Josh Allen? When that happen?
uh, shortly after free agents, one day I came in and I said, "Yo, I believe in my two QB system with Jared Goff and Trevor Lawrence," and then I traded Trevor Lawrence maybe like an hour later.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. That's right.
Tajay Spears, Devon A. Chain on my team. I need them right now. I got a young stable of backs: Jerome Ford, Malik Davis. I've been getting some offers for Chase Brown, but I think I'm gonna hold on to him.
Okay.
Rico Dowdle trade, I got him. Maybe
Well,
Cedric Tillman, Romeo Dobbs, Trey
I've
Palmer.
inquired about Ramondre, and you've told me a couple times no.
Romandre, everyone keeps inquiring about him. He is injured, and we are going to nurse him back to health, and he will be an integral piece of our team next year.
Okay.
Keaton Mitchell, he's just injured right now, so torn ACL. So I'm just
Yeah.
hold on to him. I don't think anyone wants to take a, you know,
I'll say this. I am slightly,
Devin
not slightly, I am
Singletary.
interested.
I'm open to maybe moving.
Who?
Devin Singletary, I'm open to maybe moving, but I maybe prefer to keep him. DeAndre Hopkins, I'm willing to trade if you're open for
Yeah.
business.
Let me
Ron
put.
Diggs is open for business.
I'm open about Diggs. I'm just afraid of the price it's going to cost and how that's going to affect as I go big game hunting. Because I know it's not going to be Diggs for 209 because that's insane.
What are you talking about, Bam?
Oh,
Yeah.
what's Bam
Okay,
talking
ladies and
about? Hold
gentlemen.
on.
Yo, Bam, I just want
We got to scroll all the way up for this.
ladies and gentlemen, Bam just said that Dalvin Cook starts game 1 for the Ravens next year. And that's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. Danny, I mean 209, I mean I don't know. All I'm saying is I'm looking to trade one of DeAndre Hopkins or
Let me ask you, what do you want in for Diggs, right? 209's automatically in there, right? You want 209.
listen. This is what I'm gonna say for Stephon Diggs. If you have a, here's where I am with Stephon Diggs. I'll tell you what.
Okay.
Stephon Diggs, I know is asking everyone. Everyone's trying to buy low for him now after the playoff game.
Right.
But here's what I think. Similarly to having Devontae Adams in another season, I mean, in another league, I feel like they're going to become hotter trade commodities in season, along with Mike Evans, along with maybe a DeAndre Hopkins. Mix in the fact that I got A Chain and Spears.
Yeah.
Ramondre will be getting healthy. I'm maybe just trying to find my way into trying to find my way back into the second round.
Okay.
Second, because I have most of the picks in the third. So I'm
Yeah.
looking for maybe a second round pick. But at the same time, what I'm really trying to do is I can't keep Luke Musgrave and Tucker Craft. So I'm looking to move Luke Musgrave.
Okay.
But I'm also open to moving Cole Kmet at the right price.
Okay. Well, I have enough tight ends because my fear is I don't want to go too hard on the Bills' offense because I already have Dalton Kincaid, and then throwing in Stephon Diggs in the mix.
That's
Uh,
fair.
might cause some chatter, some disgruntledness. Nuke was a little old. Not gonna
Mm.
lie. I had Mike Evans, and I traded Mike Evans to you. Cole Kmet, I got plenty tight ends. I tried to trade Bam a tight end and he told me no. He said he gonna pick a tight end off the waiver wire. And I was like, okay. I tried to help Bam out and he
And
told
that's
me,
and that's why when I look at my team, I think my team I think the offseason trades and moves that I've made so far have put myself I feel like if I sat on the current roster that I have and just tried to maybe build through the first and a lot of the third round, I might have something.
I feel like I am one elite pass catcher away. And I have 101. Like the pass catcher's on the way, one way or the other.
I'll tell you what. I feel like I know who you're going to take at 101.
Yes, it's very well. One more decent running back and an elite pass catcher, and I think we're cooking with grease over here.
Either way, I know Marvin Harrison won't be there for me at 102, so I know who I'm taking at
If
102.
he is a New England Patriot and Mac Jones is throwing him in the ball, shit, he might.
Come on.
He might. No, I'm kidding. Marvin Harrison, he coming. He's gonna be, barring something major, he's gonna be on Ron Isley's tax return.
Listen, I know
The
who I'm taking at
organization is very excited. We have scouted Marvin all year, and once we realized that the playoffs really weren't an option, we did what we had to do.
Oh. So I feel confident that here's my thing. So in our dynasty league, our 10-team dynasty league, I have 102. In my other dynasty league, hold on. In my other dynasty league, my 12-team PPR dynasty league, I have 103 and 106. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think in both of these dynasty leagues, there's a good chance that I get the same wide receiver, and I think I know who I'm taking at 102.
Why, Bam? While you're here, you and I we're having a conversation about Najee. Let's have it right now.
Najee who?
Najee Harris. Bam, what would it take to get Najee? You need some picks. I got plenty picks.
He
Take
needs
it.
some draft. Bam needs. Listen, I was. Bam gave up Jalen Waddle and didn't give a first round pick back. That's
So Kyle asked, "What do you guys think of all the other trades from yesterday? A lot of good wide receivers being moved around. I didn't have a problem with any trades. And Kyle, thank you for shouting out the Quentin Johnson for a second round pick next year. I need to get that fool off my roster. I need to get him off my roster. I was so mad at him.
what now? What if he turns into an explosive, crazy wide receiver?
That's fine. I was so angry at that man. Mike
Um,
Williams goes down, Keenan Allen hobble, and you still can't get touches with Justin Herbert, brother.
I like that. I wasn't too upset about the Puka for Tank Dell trade. I was upset.
Yeah, I wish I threw my name in the Puka hat. But
He
again,
was trying to rebuild. I like that one.
I like it.
I didn't mind Kyle's, Derrick Henry, and Michael Pittman for Tony Pollard, Drake
Nope.
London. I thought that was a good one.
Jason is up to something.
Hey,
Jason is shits and grins. He up to something.
I mean, he's getting a really young. I'm not sure. He's getting a really young team.
He up to something. I don't know something. He up to something. I've known him his entire life. He up to something.
Listen, he's trying to. I think he's trying to just get a young team that either wins very in the next like year or two, or sets himself up to be in it for the long run. I mean, you have Justin Jefferson, you got George Pickens, you now have Jalen Waddle, Trevor Lawrence, our quarterback. He's been trying to get Chase Brown for me for a while. That's not happening.
Yeah, he's been asking me about Quentin Johnson since he jumped in the league.
Why?
I don't know. I didn't ask him why. He said, "What can I do to get Quentin Johnson?" Well, I'll take a second round pick for him.
So that's where I'm at. Listen, I'm open to someone's going to need a Mike Evans, a D Hop, or a Stephon Diggs type wide receiver. And when the time comes, I'm gonna be open for business. What would it take to get Jerome Ford on your roster?
I've been thinking a lot about Jerome Ford the past couple of days, and I don't know the combination because, like I said, I don't think you want picks. You got as many picks as I do. We got all the picks in the league, me and you, between the two of us. I don't know on my roster because the players that I want to keep aren't on the same tier as Jerome Ford, but the players that I'm willing to trade are below Jerome Ford. And I think that's where the impasse is because you don't want Christian Watson back. You send him to me. You don't want Dalton Schultz. You don't want Nkonkwo. And everyone else on my bench is worthless. And Rondell Moore. You don't want Hunter Renfrow.
Honestly, the more I look at this team, Danny, once we add in these taxi spots, listen, I'll add taxi spots right now if people wanted them. No, I'm playing.
Oh
Um,
yeah, you shouldn't have said that.
nah. I
Akili
mean, we're
gonna
getting.
pop out of nowhere.
I
Akili
mean,
gonna
we're
pop
getting.
in like a wizard.
We're. I mean, we're getting them pretty soon. Once we have this little owners meeting, I feel like that one's going to be voted on unanimously.
Yes.
Uh, two taxi spots for first and second year players. I think once we add that in, I'm looking at my team. I think I'm about to be a force to be reckoned with very soon, especially when we add Malik Neighbors to this franchise when
Yeah,
he is a San Diego Charger.
for me, it's once Marvin Harrison takes up that second slot beside Devontae Smith, or maybe someone else. Maybe, and again, maybe a serviceable running back. But for me, my philosophy is Jalen's going to pick up the running back slack.
Hold on.
Damn, Bam, why the price of Najee going up? I said, I'm all I care about that trade is if you and Shits and Grins are happy. Why the price of Najee got to go up because everyone else is making you angry? It's me, baby. It's me.
Danny, you see that notification in the
Let me see.
bam. If you're in here, go look at the channel. We in here.
So, taxi spots to be for rookies, right?
I will set it up for first and second year players. You'll get
Oh,
two taxi spots for first and second year players
and you can't shift them in and out once they're in the taxi spot. They're in the taxi spot
once the season starts.
once the season starts. Okay. Bam, I'll give you 209 for Najee. Jamie said he's worth an early third. I'll sweeten the pot a little bit and give you 209 for
Jamie,
Najee.
for reference, we only have 3 rounds in these drafts.
Think about it, Bam. 209 for Najee.
Does Bam doesn't have any draft
Bam ain't
picks.
got no picks. Everybody got Bam picks except Bam. Bam got like 1 pick this year and like 2 picks next year. All right. Yeah, so he has 210 and then he has his
Bam, I'll
picks
tell
next
you
year.
what. Bam, I will tell you what. I will give you a 3rd-round pick for Khalil Shakir.
This turning into a bidding war for Bam's roster might be the funniest thing ever on this show.
I'm serious. I'll give him a 3rd-round pick for Khalil Shakir.
Picks are overrated, sir. You gonna need them, brother. He said picks. All right, well, Bam, look at my roster and tell me what you want for Najee. How about that? And if you say Devontae Smith, we kicking you out of here. We kicking you out the league.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 130 of
18
Speak
minutes.
on It. 18 minutes in. I'll tell you what. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a jam-packed show for you today. I got a lot to talk about. Danny, I'm probably going to I'm going to say some things about the Green Bay Packers, but I think first we should let the people know where the good show was brought to them by.
Well, first of all, thanks everyone for joining us. Chat's jumping, and we're just getting started with
We
this
here.
show. Yeah,
we here.
up.
We here.
We
I mean,
here.
we got NFL, we got NBA, we got WWE to talk about.
Hey, we got to talk whole. Yeah, we got to hurry this up. Fine shows brought to you by the good folks at goingfor2.com. Fantasy season over, but as you can see, fantasy's still in session, especially for those in dynasty leagues like us who are preparing for drafts coming up. Trade market is open. Goingfor2.com, everything you need. D, we have a lot to talk about tonight. We're going to start in the NFL playoffs. We're going to start the divisional round. Let's just jump into it because this feels like a 2-hour show if we keep going. So we'll start with the first game, arguably the most fun game that wasn't in Buffalo. The Lions and the Bucks
it was kind of
game.
a shootout. It was low-key a shootout, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Bucks
it was low key. I had a lot of fun watching the Lions and the Bucks. So let's start off with the obvious question: like, what are your thoughts on the game overall? And then we'll go a little bit deeper.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you what, Baker Mayfield, I seen you out there. That's what I'm gonna start with.
Yeah.
I seen you out there, Baker. That I was watching, I was like, oh, hey, that's that Oklahoma Baker that came out. He was slinging it, man. I mean, listen, I'll say, obviously, I mean, those teams are really evenly matched. I think the game could have really went either way. I mean, I think the Bucks defense gave Baker a chance to win the game. You hate to see it in that way, but I'm fairly confident had he not thrown that pick, they were going to drive down and score a touchdown. I mean, the
Yeah.
line defense it's good, but it's not good at the same time. Very mid. But they managed to make a play when they managed to do it. They're really good against the run. So obviously, it allowed Baker Mayfield and Mike Evans, who what a wide receiver, man. I mean, he
Hall of
says he
Fame.
wants to stay in Tampa. So,
Hall of Fame. Like this morning, I was walking my dog and I was thinking to myself, how many bona fide Hall of Famers are in the NFL right now? And I got like 5, and Mike Evans was like the third person that popped in my head.
yeah, Mike Evans, for
Aaron,
sure.
Aaron Rodgers, Patrick
Aaron, of
Mahomes,
course.
Aaron Donald.
Aaron Donald, yeah.
Yeah, and then I kind of start.
Lamar.
He's close. I don't think the only Hall of
Lamar.
Fame, the only bona fide Hall of Fame quarterbacks right now are Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes that are currently playing.
Listen, we have never seen a player like Lamar.
We
Lamar.
haven't. Let me tell you something. If Lamar wins his second MVP and he wins a Super Bowl and a Super Bowl MVP, and he does 1 or 2 more seasons like this season, yeah, bona fide Hall of Famer.
Let me ask you a question. If you had the 3rd overall pick in a 12-team Superflex league, 3rd overall pick, you just traded Tua Tagovailoa for 106 in this league. Your other quarterback is Patrick Mahomes. You have Devontae Adams. You have Tyreek Hill. You have George Pickens, Romeo Dontavius Wicks, David Njoku, and Ramondre Stevenson. No tight end premium.
Okay, as we'll say with Brock Bowers. At 6, all the quarterbacks going to be gone. Drake's going to be gone. Caleb's
at
going to be gone.
103. I'm
at
saying
103.
I have 103 and 106. What QB would you take at 103? Assuming that pick number 101 is going to be a QB, pick number 102 is likely going to be Marvin Harrison Jr.
Right,
and then there's you.
I guess at that point, your team seems pretty rounded. I would take best player available.
But my other QB is Aiden O'Connell.
I would take outside of Caleb Williams. Is there any other quarterback that like really impresses you? For me, it's not like I see everyone fall in love with Drake May. Drake May doesn't do it for me. Jaden McDaniels, maybe
that's my guy. I think that's
your
my guy.
I think
if Jaden,
where does
Jaden
he
Daniels
end up?
Is there at 103.
I said McDaniels. My bad. Jaden Daniels. I don't know where I got
Jaden Daniels. I think Jaden Daniels ends up in like a maybe a New England at 103. Maybe a who else needs a QB in that first round? Atlanta, maybe.
Well, the Giants just played. I think you're gonna get one more year of Daniel Jones.
So I mean, who else is in that? Who's in that first round again?
If he ends up in Atlanta, sign me up.
They have what, pick 7, pick 8,
something like that. Hold on, let me find out.
I know it's the Bears,
it's the Bears, the Commanders, New England, Arizona, Chargers, Giants, Titans. Yeah, Atlanta's at 8. Like if he goes to Atlanta,
I like it.
I'm listening.
I'm thinking. I think I can get Jaden Daniels at 103, and potentially Malik Neighbors at 106 if he's still there.
Yeah, now you cooking. Because
then I'd have Malik Neighbors. I'd have 2 shares of Malik Neighbors in both my dynasty leagues.
This is going to sound terrible, but it always made me uncomfortable when people talk about players like their stocks.
Shares.
Like I have 5 shares of this person. It's like, whoa.
Well, listen,
slavery is over.
Nah, they didn't call them shares back in the day. They called them.
I'm just saying it is not to say that there's a racial tie to this, but it's kind of weird, especially in the league with mostly black players. Be like, man, I got like 3 shares of Devontae Adams.
Well, I'm trying to have Malik Neighbors on both my dynasty teams.
Okay, and maybe that's just me.
Nah, I feel you. I like it.
Maybe that's just me being low. Okay.
So in our dynasty league chat, the people just saying to Adam. Danny, should I add him?
Yeah, go ahead and add him. While you do that, I'll talk about my favorite part of the Lions game. Second half, end of the second quarter, the Bucks get their ball on their own 8, and Todd Bowles says, "You know what? We're going to go try to get points because that's what you should do." And if I sound like something you've heard earlier today, if you listen to The Ringer, they had a similar conversation about Kyle Shanahan and his clock management and how infuriating it is, how he'll sit on time, he'll waste his timeouts, or he just does stupid stuff. And Todd Bowles, that's how you run a 2-minute offense. They went 92 yards in 7 plays and they tied the game in halftime. And at that point, I thought the Buccaneers were going to win because the Lions had all the momentum. Everything was going in their favor. And then they give up a 92-yard drive with a minute 52 left. I thought the Bucks were going to win that game. That Mike Evans catch, and we'll talk about the Bills in a minute. That's the kind of catch I need Stephon Diggs to make. But Mike Evans is the first ballot Hall of Famer, no questions asked. I enjoyed that game a lot. I mean, all the games this weekend outside of the second half of Baltimore, Houston were great games. I couldn't complain as a fan. So I got a question
Danny,
for
check
you.
the rosters.
Check the roster. I got a question for you now that our great GM has added taxi squads. And you kind of hinted towards this a couple of minutes ago. Do you think Baker stays in Tampa?
Absolutely.
Like, do you think he gets a long-term contract, or is it,
I think they
one
give him
and
a about 3-year deal, probably paying him around what's the higher end QBs making?
it's
50,
about
47?
something like that, probably higher.
I think Baker will probably be around 3 years at around
Hey, taxi
40,
squads.
46, 47 mil per year.
If he does that, his agent is elite. I hope he breaks his agent something off nice if he gets 47 million a year. But I'm happy for him. He looks like he's found a place that's stuck. He's in a division that is extremely winnable, and he has elite weapons. Kyle asks, is Mike Evans the greatest Tampa Bay Buccaneer of all time? Ooh, that's a good question. You got Rondé. He's definitely the best offensive player Tampa has ever had, but
Think
as a
so, but they've
whole,
also had Tom Brady.
yeah. But I mean, you remember Tom Brady as a Patriot? I don't know. That's a great question. And they had Gronk. Oof. Tampa Bay has a lot of history
I mean,
for a team that hasn't been around that long. Well, no, they've been around for a while.
no, they've been around. Remember when they had the orange sickles?
Yeah, I was thinking
Listen,
about when they did the rebrand in
let's rip the
2000 and what they
Band-Aid
have
off.
now. Yeah, bam, Mike Allstott. Mike Allstott's the best Tampa Bay Buccaneer of all time.
You
Correct.
think, you think so?
Dog,
Keyshawn
come on,
Johnson?
man. Nah, not Key. It's Mike Allstott. Bam, got it right. That man was a fullback running back with a neck roll. Mike Allstott is the football version of Stone Cold Steve Austin.
From when?
From the early 2000s, that Rondé Barber team, the team that won the Super Bowl. Oh, you remember Mike Allstott, number 40?
Oh, the fullback, John?
The fullback running back, Mr. Do It All. He was
Yeah.
he
Nah, he
was
was
Kyle
nice.
Juszczyk before Kyle Juszczyk.
The OG Kyle Juszczyk?
Yeah, nah, man, 100% Mike Allstott. Mike Allstott and Marion Barber wanted to make me play running back.
How'd that go for you?
So on to San Francisco in the Bay Area.
Listen, Kyle, come up in here. Let's
Yeah, y'all ISO.
listen. Saturday night, Green Bay Packers traveled west to the San Francisco Bay Area to play the San Francisco 49ers.
This is a safe space.
You can be the best team for 55 minutes of a game, but it's a 60-minute game.
Beautifully put.
It is a 60-minute game. I'm stuck between the Packers lost it, the Niners won it, Anders Carlson blew it. It's hard for me to blame Jordan Love, but that wasn't the best of interceptions.
I'm always a fan. I don't like to say teams lost games, but teams won them. But Brock Purdy gave you all multiple opportunities to win that
We had
game. But
multiple
that's the
drop
Brock. That's
picks.
the. There's a
The
stat.
we
Go
had
ahead.
the we had the multiple drop picks. We had the fourth down that I thought was a bad spot
Yes,
to
he
begin
got that
with.
first down. I
It
even
was,
text you that. Like as soon as it happened, I was like, "That's insane." He got that first down.
I mean, where do we go? I mean,
What do you mean? Where do you go? You have the youngest team in the league that made it to the divisional round. You have your QB1. Half the team was injured. Jair was on one leg. Christian Watson was on one hamstring. What do you mean where you go? You signed Jordan Love and you run that back.
why can't we beat this one team? We haven't beat them since '01 in
I
the
mean, why
postseason.
can't the Cowboys beat y'all?
Well, I
Everyone
mean,
has their nemesis. The Eagles can't beat. Well, they beat San Francisco last year, but
y'all
Brock
can't beat
Purdy
the
got
Bucks in
hurt.
the postseason.
Yeah. The Bucks are the Eagles' nemesis
It's funny
all the
because
way
y'all
back to 2000s.
y'all 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 beat them pretty easily earlier in the season. I was kind of
No,
confused
that's
on
when we
that.
had an offensive identity and a defensive identity, and then that just disappeared. You know what was crazy about Sunday night? The Eagles beat the Chiefs and the Bills in back-to-back weeks. I wept. I fucking cried, man.
It just wasn't meant to be this year. Let me tell you something. How much money you spoke of? You spoke about we spoke about Baker Mayfield's money. How much money do you think Jordan Love gets this offseason?
Top 7. He definitely getting top 7. Like I think
If I-
Jalen's at 50. I think Jordan Love is 47 to 52 million a
You
year.
think you think so? How many
Yeah,
years?
100. Probably 4. If he agrees to 5, I give him 5, but it'll probably be 4. So what's 4? Yeah, 4 at 50. That's that's 200. Well, Jalen signed for 255, I think. Jordan might get
You sure? You
55.
sure they won't make Jordan Love the highest paid QB in the league?
I don't think they'll do all that. I don't think he has that much cachet. If he who's his representation? Is he a clutch sports athlete?
You think Rich Paul talk him into it? I'm not quite
If
sure.
okay, if he's with Rock Nation or Clutch, yeah, he gonna be the highest quarterback and paid quarterback in the league. But if not, definitely top 7 money
Why you make it seem like they move like the mafia?
because they do.
Oh, brother, this is how
You ain't
narrative.
name one Clutch sports client that ain't got paid. Tristan Thompson, damn near didn't he get a max?
Listen, Tristan Thompson also just got suspended for 25 games for being
Hilarious.
on that shit. And basically, one game he just looked his hop looked a little too springy, and they said, "Nah, come
Whoa,
up
he
over
scored 6 points instead of 3.
here." I
Test him.
know. Honestly, I was so disappointed after this game that I literally just sat there and I just stared to an empty black TV. I just stared at it because like what? That game was won, man.
It
We had
was.
that game dead to rights won. We were the better team,
Yep.
clearly the better team, and we just lost it. It reminded me a lot of the Atlanta game from earlier in the season, in the fact that it was just unbelievably frustrating to just watch a team collapse right in front of you when you know and
Mm.
seeing how great they have played when they play their game.
Mm-hmm.
We we handled them, man. We uh matter of fact, we play the 49ers in the regular season in Green Bay next year. I think watch what happens.
Yeah,
Watch what happens.
especially with a Packers team that's healthy. Like
Watch
LaFleur
what
called a great game. LaFleur, like since Aaron Rodgers has left, especially towards the end of the season, like LaFleur been in his bag.
One would say that what you see now with Jordan Love is LaFleur's offense that he actually wants to run, and that the one we've been seeing from Aaron Rodgers was just a very, very modified version of it.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Because Aaron Rodgers is such a dynamic player. It's like when Tom Brady came to, when Tom Brady and Bruce Arians linked up in Tampa Bay. Yeah, they have. I know, that Bruce Arians runs a specific offense, but Tom Brady likes specific offensive plays and schemes and concepts as well. So you got to find a way to make it mesh. And let me tell you something. The boys coming. I feel like this off season will look a lot. We'll invest a lot on the defensive end, maybe on the premium positions, defensive line, offensive line. Wouldn't surprise me if we maybe took another running back, um, or a corner. But who knows? I know one thing. The Packers haven't beaten the 49ers in the postseason since 2001, January 2001.
That's
Ladies and
crazy.
gentlemen, it is January 2024.
That's crazy.
I was 5, about to turn 6.
Well, let's talk about something a little bit that might make you a little happier since you're wearing purple. Do you have any thoughts on that Texans Ravens game? I have a hot take that's tied to the Eagles, but I'll let you go first.
Here's what I'm saying about the Texans versus the Ravens. Um, the Ravens are really, really good, man. They're good at everything, and it just, I think the Texans, while they were probably prepared for the moment, they may not have been ready for the moment. And I think Baltimore is just the better team. They're feeding off the energy of the crowd. Once Lamar really got into his bag and went back to showing us why he's one of the most unstoppable and must-watch players ever in the history of the game, it's a wrap. It's a wrap.
I think CJ told Lamar told CJ after the game, like, this is just the beginning for you, right? And I think that's a great way to encapsulate like the Texan season. The most frustrating thing about watching that game was during the first half of the game, D'Amico made it his mission to blitz Lamar, and at halftime, what's the OC's name? Todd Monken, right?
The OC for the Ravens,
Yes.
yes, Todd Monken.
Todd Monken said, "You know what, Lamar? They're blitzing a lot. You know what we should do? We should throw quick routes in the middle of the field." And it worked. Nick Sirianni, I hope you were watching. I hope you had your notepad out. I hope your staff had their notepads out, because that's how you beat the blitz. Not by running 4 verticals every single time.
What do you think to the people who say you guys have the worst QB contract out of all the teams?
I'd say wait till Dak signs his. Or wait till Baker signs. I like Jalen's contract. I have no problem with Jalen's contract.
How many years of subpar mediocre play before the city of Philadelphia you think would turn on Jalen Hurts?
I think, well, some people are turning on him already. I think if the city were really, Nick has to go first, because everything, all the problems seem to be tied to Nick Sirianni's offense. So if Nick Sirianni, he's apparently looking for offensive coordinator. Brian Johnson was fired today. If Nick
Really?
Sirianni, yeah, Brian Johnson was let go today. If Nick Sirianni hires an offensive coordinator that is from the branch, like a Frank Wright or someone that he mentored, and it's the same next year as it was this year, then Nick's got to go. Jalen will have another year. Now, if Nick hires an offensive coordinator with a different philosophy and believes in modern NFL football, like motion and using angles to help scheme wide receivers open, and Jalen still struggles, then we're going to have a conversation about Jalen. There aren't many quarterbacks I'd take over Jalen right now still.
The city of brotherly love, ladies and gentlemen,
It's full of
it
hate.
ain't so brotherly, and it ain't so lovely sometimes.
Speaking of pure hatred, how much does Josh Allen hate Patrick Mahomes?
Oh man, he listen. They can't promote this as Brady versus Manning or the
Ever.
next one. What this is it's just domination when it counts.
Someone
Uh,
said Josh Allen is Philip Rivers, and I was like, yes, that's
is
it.
he?
Yeah, I mean, Philip Rivers had these great seasons, and then come playoff time, like he might win a game or two, and then they started being the Chargers.
Listen, but he's got some wins though.
Yeah, like Philip Rivers made it to an AFC Championship game. Remember, he tore his ACL in the AFC Championship game that year.
So did Josh Allen. He made an AFC Championship game.
Yeah, like their careers are very similar.
Here's what I'm gonna say. Going forward on fourth down from your own 29.
Terrible from the script writers. Give it to DeMar. Let's take it out of our quarterback's hands. The quarterback who's like 6'5", 250,
The,
and
the
let's
same guy
run.
the same guy we've been rushing this entire time. We try to go to Damar Hamlin during this time.
And the crazy thing was, like, he motioned one way and then he motioned back, and I was like, I know they're not about to snap it because he was standing right behind the center. Like, it wasn't like he was standing away from the center, so the ball, it looked like it could go to the punter. No, he was standing right behind the center. Where was the ball going to go if they snapped it to the punter? It would hit him. The third worst playoff special teams play I think I have ever seen. Thank you,
It
Kyle.
was
4th and 5. You took it out of Josh Allen's hands.
it like why not just punt? Why not just run the QB option? What
I appreciate the aggressiveness. I'm not mad at the call. I'm not mad at the decision to go for it, because when you're playing Patrick Mahomes, you got to leave it all out there. I'm not mad at the decision. I'm mad at the call.
How about Miko Hardman basically trying to give it right back to him?
He gonna be sitting beside Kadarius Toney next week.
Injured reserve.
Yeah, dog.
Healthy, unhealthy, healthy scratch.
Patrick Mahomes out here winning with the 5-foot all stars.
How does that? Okay. I just wonder. Let me tell you something. Had Miko Hardman not pulled that jive turkey mess, Sean McDermott would have lost by 10. And I can tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that the headlines would have been much different.
100%. Here's my. I know we're talking about this. If I'm Josh Allen, if Stephon Diggs ever in his life come on that sideline throwing one of them temper tantrums, I'm gonna have a guy on the sideline who got that play on the tablet fired up where the ball hit Stephon right in his hands. If you ever in your life come for me, Stephon, I'm gonna pay somebody to.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna pay someone to stand on the sideline with that play fired up on the tablet and show it to you. Have a seat, my man. You done. Like, I don't want to hear nothing else.
What's funny was I watched that play and I literally said, someone's going to offer me a low ball offer for Stephon Diggs off that play.
And who was the first one to do it? Was it Bam?
Actually, Greg texted me and said, "What's Diggs' asking price?" And I just told him no.
Oh yeah, Greg was gonna offer you a 3rd round pick and a handshake.
He was gonna offer me 2 nickels, a quarter, and a McDouble.
But yeah, man, like Diggs, and yeah, like I don't want to hear it, dog. That hit him right in the hands. Like Mike Evans makes that catch. Mike Evans made a harder catch in that Detroit game.
What about the folks who say Josh Allen could have on 2nd down maybe not underthrown a open wide receiver?
So here, Josh Allen made the right decision. Chris Jones made a hell of a play. So Chris Jones pushed the tackle right into Josh where he was throwing. Josh, that was a touchdown if Josh had a clean pocket or if Josh had slid to the right. I have no problem with that throw. Because that was the right throw. That throw was there. Chris Jones just made a play. I'm not mad at Josh for that. I mean, it was open. Like, you saw it was underthrown, but that receiver was open. Like, he was right in the middle of the 2 safeties. Like, I have no issue with that throw from Josh. His tackle just couldn't hold up for a half a second so he could step into the throw.
They always talk about his arm accuracy, though.
No, that was there. Like, that was on point. It was just short.
Yeah, the space was there. The pass was there. He couldn't make it.
He just couldn't make it. I'm not mad at Josh for that decision.
Well, let's look ahead to the Final Four, I guess, in NFL. Danny, talk to me.
You know, we're gonna leave Baltimore for the second one. Let's go to the Bay. What's the key for first of all, do you think the Lions can pull off the upset? And if they do, what's the key for them to win the game?
I don't really like this team, but I hate the fucking 49ers.
Mm-hmm. Come on over.
the Lions are gonna win this game because we're gonna claw you, we're gonna bite your kneecaps, and every time you punch us, we're gonna get right back up, and we're gonna bite, we're gonna claw at your kneecaps, and you know what? That's what they've done. They got Jared Goff, fantasy QB for the Las Vegas Horned Ducks. Come on. Come on. Y'all hating. That's how we rocking.
It's my
And
favorite call ever.
let me tell you, similarly to last year's Lions, the Las Vegas Horn Ducks will be that team. I like how they're doing it. I'm seeing Jamison Williams come on a little bit more. Someone tell Akili I will trade. I mean, not Akili. No, it is Akili for Jamison Williams. I will trade, maybe. Um, Obviously they got Jahmyr Gibbs. Listen, it's a good offense. Fuck them 49ers. Fuck them. Sick of them. Not rooting for no Kyle Shanahan. Fraud.
This is going to be the Aiden Hutchinson masterclass. It's going to have to be. It's going to have to be the C.J. Gardner Johnson. He can catch. Like he's going to have to get his hand on a couple of those passes from Brock Purdy. I think the Lions can do it. I'm just not picking up that 49ers run defense. That the Lions defense is more vulnerable than the 49ers defense, and I think their offense, both offenses are just on the same level in regards of explosiveness.
I would say the Detroit offense is a little bit more explosive, though.
And they're on the road.
Raw, Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery, Josh Reynolds, Jamison Williams,
Sam Laporta.
Sam Laporta. They pick up chunks in yards. Ben
They
Johnson
do.
knows how to mix in the run and the pass.
But
I
the
would honestly
49
say the Lions are a little bit more of an explosive offense.
but the 49ers defense is better than the Lions defense.
I
am very interested to see how, because Detroit has one of the best offensive line. Lions defense has no leader. Yeah, they have Aiden Hutchinson. Yeah, they have a leader.
Nah, they just out there looking lost, Bam.
Oh, that's right. Y'all all division rivals, so y'all hate them. I understand. I get it.
Yeah,
I don't know,
Bam.
man. I believe there's a stat that shows and Cal, you can, if you have a second, correct me on this. Like there's a stat that says like plays that should have been turnovers, like turnover worthy plays.
Yep.
And I'm pretty sure Brock Purdy's at the top of that list. If not, he's top 3. Like at some point in time, this turnover luck has to run out. He throws 2 or 3 passes every single game, it feels like, that hits someone right in the hands and they drop it. Like that is going to catch up to you. It has to. If it doesn't catch up against Detroit, I'm picking the Ravens. It's going to catch up with him for the Ravens. That ain't going to fly against Baltimore. Like it has to. Like his turnover luck, it has to come back to the mean.
I mean, it's
but I'm still picking the 49ers. And Kyle Shanahan's going to do something insane. He's going to have another clock management blunder. I'm just giving him the home field advantage. Like I would be elated if Detroit won. I think it would be so dope for Detroit. I know y'all hate Detroit, but I think it's a really cool story. And I want to see arguably the 2 blackest cities in America go to Vegas for the Super Bowl.
blackest cities in America.
Detroit and Baltimore. Only other black city I can think of that's black is Memphis.
No Atlanta?
Atlanta, New Orleans. Okay.
Houston? DC?
Okay. Well,
Oakland?
Oakland's not a city. Oakland's part of the Bay. Yeah, thank you, Kyle. Apparently, Prairie is tied for 5th most turnover-worthy plays this season. I knew it was up there. Like it got to run out.
Who's number 1?
Run. Who's number 1? Oh, let's play this game. Who's number 1? Watch it be Jalen. Probably Justin Herbert or Josh Allen. Like who's really careless with the ball? Josh. Jalen is a little careless.
Russell Wilson.
Yeah,
I'm very curious to know who would be number one. While we do that, I like the Lions to win this one. I think they're going to pull this one out.
I
Let's
want to
talk.
pick the Lions so bad, but I'm going with San Francisco.
Let's talk about this other game though.
Yeah, let's talk about the game. This should be the 6:30 game, not the 3:30.
This that Martin Luther Bowl.
This the Martin. Did you see? Did you see he was married to a white woman? For those who don't know, there's a guy going around on social media at the Baltimore game that apparently looks like Martin Luther King. So I think a local news station talked to him, and he is married to a white woman. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just hilarious.
Martin Luther Dream. That's what he looked like. The reincarnated.
What's that? What's the key to this? How did the Chiefs walk into Baltimore and earn another trip to the Super Bowl?
I'm going to be honest with you, people. You got to find a way to make Lamar Jackson one dimensional. I know it sounds cliche, but you got to find a way to make Lamar Jackson one dimensional. Two ways I think you can do that. I think you either load up on really trying to stop the run. Ladies and gentlemen, Akili has entered the chat, aka known as Rojo Truther. He started, of course, with where we started our show. Did y'all talk about that trash ass trade yet in our Dynasty League? Yes, Akili, we started the episode with that. Overall, and then we'll get back to the Ravens versus the Chiefs. Overall, that trade for Jalen Waddle, for Cortland Sutton, Josh Downs, Dalvin Cook in a 2025 or 2026 second.
I think it's 2025.
2025 second. We acknowledge it as one of the worst trades we've seen. It was buns.
Akili, we have unfinished business. Akili, we need to have a conversation.
What's the asking price for Jaden Reed?
Is that a question for Akili?
Yeah, it's a question for Akili.
Anyway, you know why I'm here. I'm sorry. Keep going, D.
The keys to the Ravens, the Chiefs walking into Baltimore and getting the stop is shutting down. I would start by shutting down the run, which I think the Chiefs do a pretty good job of. You have Chris Jones up front. I think you start there and start really trying to limiting them to a passing offense and make Lamar have to completely just beat you, just beat you with his arm. So I could definitely, I feel like if the Chiefs win the game, they will start by establishing the run on their offensive end, which Pacheco's been doing well. And I feel like in Baltimore, they're going to be hitting. Them pads going to be flopping. So yes. I feel like Pacheco's going to be getting some tough yards. Travis Kelce over the middle, I think we're going to see some tough yards.
Watch out for put that man on the.
Watch Marquez Valdes-Scantling as well. I think he'll show up big time. He seems to be finding his groove in these playoff games for him. So I feel like he gets up a big time. And then Rashee Rice, I feel like he's in for like a 7 catch, 80-yard day, if that, which is all he kind of needs to really affect the game in a way that he normally does. So those are my keys to me seeing Kansas City wins. How do you see if the Ravens come out and beat Kansas City and advance to the Super Bowl? What do you think are the keys to their victory?
I think they get to Patrick, and they get to Patrick often. It's funny. I was talking to my buddies about this when they played Buffalo. I wondered, there's a couple of times a game where Patrick turns to the ref and kind of throws a temper tantrum like, hey, that was a flag. Where's the flag? And he got it in Buffalo. That pass interference call was not pass interference, but Patrick turned around and he started to complain and he got the flag. I just wonder if he's going to get that in Baltimore.
I mean, if it's a penalty, they should call a penalty.
You're right, but and maybe maybe these are sour grapes, but to me, it feels like every Chiefs game, there is some moment, and it's usually a very high leverage moment where Patrick turns around to the refs and he's like, and he's waving his arms and he's pointing and he's screaming.
You think that's him putting in the call?
Yeah. Well, let me say what I want to say. Yeah, he turned around and asked for a flag, and he be getting the flag, and then he does that thing where he runs up the sideline. Now, this is genius. I'm not hating on this. He runs up the sideline, and as soon as someone comes to him, he steps out of bounds and takes the contact, and he gets the extra 15 yards. That's genius.
Hey, sometimes you got to put your body on the line.
No. Not the way he does it. You know, like people who watch Mahomes know what I'm talking about when he does the sideline run. That's what got him to
Y'all,
the Super Bowl
y'all
last year
sound
against
like
the
haters.
Bengals. I said no. The sideline thing is genius. But are you telling me that there are multiple times during the game where something happens that's borderline and Patrick turns around and asks for a flag? Like that pass interference call was not pass interference,
I've
but
seen it
Patrick
happen
turns
to a few.
around and start crying.
I've seen a few QBs.
If if the Baltimore wins, they get pressure with 4, and they play coverage on the back, and they get pressure with 4, and they hit Mahomes, which is very hard to do because Mahomes is very shifty.
He's way shiftier than I'd be remembering because he just get out there and he just
he don't look shifty at all. He look like he's slow as creek water, and then he get in the open field.
But you know who is shifty?
That boy Lamar.
Man, I ain't
You know
never
how
seen.
I know Lamar cold? He got the pacifier mouthpiece as a quarterback.
Oh yeah.
He ain't even got to like he get to the line. He ain't got to say nothing. It don't
He
matter
said,
what you do.
ladies, not the ball. We own. Let me
It
tell you
don't
something.
matter. And I think if you're the Chiefs, if the Chiefs win, they make the Ravens receivers beat them because I think Lamar can beat you. Lamar can beat you with his arms and his legs, but I think the Chiefs have a good enough secondary to make Zay Flowers and Rashad and Odell really work for it. Because Mark Andrews is not back for this game, is he?
I think actually Mark Andrews will be playing in this game.
I mean, but he hasn't played since what? I think it was early in the season, so it's not like he's going to come out and dominate. So if the Chiefs win, it's because Odell, Rashad, and Zay couldn't do enough.
Which is funny. We talk like the Ravens got that solid of a receiving core as well.
I mean, the Chiefs don't, but they have Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes is the greatest quarterback ever lived. He on his way.
Who to who? Aaron Rodgers?
No, he's past Aaron. What does Aaron do better than Patrick?
Throw the football.
No.
Okay.
Not at all. Any throw Aaron can make, Patrick can make.
Any throw Patrick can make. Listen, man, I'm not going to go back and forth with you.
Okay.
My God's a good God.
Your guy. Never mind. You think Tyler Bass is selling his home in Buffalo tonight or this week?
Tyler Bass will next time we see Tyler Bass, his name will be Ukbad Muhammad Baras. Because he will move to find.
Oh damn, Achilles. Yeah, Achilles agreeing with me. Achilles said better throw than Mahomes. Put the crack down, dog. Yeah, Mahomes. Any throw that Aaron Rodgers can make, Mahomes can make.
So you ain't gonna read Bam's statement? Thank you, Bam.
Bam said Mahomes over. That's because Bam was a Ravens fan.
What that mean? He can acknowledge game.
Okay.
Nah, go ahead. So you got the Chiefs.
I got Baltimore winning. I'm just saying if the Chiefs win, it's because the Ravens receivers couldn't get it done, which is a very real possibility because Kansas City secondary is like that.
I like the Chiefs by 10.
Okay. I wouldn't be shocked. He's Patrick Mahomes. That would be crazy. He has been a starter for 6 years and he's been in 6 AFC title games. That is bananas.
Let me ask you this. 6 AFC championship games, 3 opportunities. I mean, 6 chances to go to the Super Bowl. He's 3-3 in those, I believe. With
he
2
lost
rings
to Brady. He lost to Brady.
Burrow.
Oh, you talking about AFC championship games and not Super Bowls?
Yeah.
Yeah, he lost to Burrow. He lost to Brady.
He might have
That's
lost.
it, isn't it? He been to 4 Super Bowls and won 3, right? He lost to Tampa Bay. He beat the Eagles.
Beat the Eagles and 49ers.
He lost to Tampa.
Yeah.
And then who's the other team he beat? Or has he been 3-3? I thought he's been to 4 Super Bowls and won 4. No, he's only won 3. You're right. He's only been to 3, and he's won 2.
So this would be a sixth one.
Yeah, just.
Where do you think this puts greatest starts to careers in perspective?
I mean, who can say every year they were a starter they made it to the championship game? Who can say that? Like Dan Marino made it to the Super Bowl as a rookie, never went back.
Tom
Took
Brady?
John. Did Brady make it to 6 AFC championship games in a row as a starter in New England?
It was probably like four.
Every autogram. See, we going way back, Kyle. If we talking about autogram.
Oh, so we talking about the Jim Crow days, Kyle.
Yeah, autogram. That's it. Yeah, like Patrick. Like it's Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes. Like that is it.
That's the gold standard.
That's the like when we talk about goats. Yeah, like Patrick. Like let him win the Super Bowl this year, and he'll be 3-3 in Super Bowls. Like it's hard to put someone else in front of him other than Brady.
Well, I'll tell you what, if he gets the three in 6 years, why would
Anyone would sign up for that? And he's 28.
three in
He's
six
not
years,
even 30.
3 in 6 years, what would you say to anyone who may consider him the greatest of all time off of that?
Like if he retired tomorrow, or if he retired, like he won the Super Bowl this year and then retired.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Brady would be 1, he'd be 2.
One could look at that as a Jordan run, though.
Or I was thinking more so Terrell Davis, but yeah, not. I see what you're saying. No, not Terrell Davis. Yeah, 100% a Jordan run, but Tom Brady has 6 of those things,
But on the flip side,
and he has the longevity. Like Tom Brady has done everything.
though, imagine if we get Lamar up in there. We get that real Negro spiritual hymn energy from that Baltimore, that ooh
I'll
up
be
in
here
there.
for it. The thing about Lamar is he's doing it
They
in a
gonna
way that
listen.
people.
If the Ravens win the Super Bowl this year, you think the Congress folks gonna be on one knee with the dashiki cloths again,
Let me
talking
tell you
about some
something. If
Wakanda
if
forever?
if Baltimore wins the Super Bowl, they're gonna call Jim Crow to help the police department down in Baltimore because they're gonna be wilding. They calling Jim Crow for help on security.
You think this is do you think this is the year Lamar beats? Do you feel like if Lamar beats Mahomes, he would have to look at it as they are the favorites? Like
100. If Lamar beats Patrick, the only other quarterbacks that can say they beat Patrick in the playoffs are Tom Brady and Joe Burrow. That's it. I'm the only 2 guys right now who can say, yeah, we beat Patrick.
it's hard. Yeah, those are the
That's it.
Tom Brady,
It's
Joe
Tom and
Burrow,
Joe.
and Joe Burrow only beat him that one time, right?
Yeah, Joe beat him in the AFC Championship game that one time. And he been eating off it ever since.
Well, I think it might have been because I think Patrick may have started like 0-2 or 0-3 versus him or something like that.
Yeah, they start calling it Burrowhead, and Patrick put
Yeah,
into all that.
and I never really understood that because they were winning like close games, and then hardy har, the Bengals didn't even win the Super Bowl that year. And then the next year,
Nope.
the Chiefs win it, or a couple years later, the Chiefs win it
Yep.
again. So who really looks doofy in the face?
But I think everyone's rooting for the Ravens. I don't know many people that's rooting. Like everyone's rooting for the Ravens and Lions because they're feel good stories, and people are tired of talking about Taylor Swift, and they're tired of seeing Patrick win, which just exemplifies his greatness. Like when people are tired of seeing you win. Same Brady went through the same thing. Like, damn, I'm tired of seeing Brady win. It's just a testament to
Chiefs
their
by
greatness.
10.
Chiefs by 10. I wouldn't be shocked. You want to talk about some head coaching hires or one in particular?
Talk to me.
So Jim Harbaugh is reportedly very close to being the Chargers head coach. we know how I feel about the Chargers job. We know how you feel about the Chargers job. What do you think about this hire for the organization?
Let me tell you something. Jim Harbaugh was living in Ann Arbor for all that time, so all them black folks and said, "Take me to sunny California." Let me tell you something. I think if he brings in, I think I saw the reported staff is him, his current DC from Michigan, his
Yep.
son to be the special teams coordinator, and maybe Greg Roman to be the offensive coordinator. Um, Solid staff if that's the case, and if so, then I think you would bring out definitely a little bit more running element as part to kind of help out Justin Herbert. But I also see them potentially drafting like a young wide receiver early to replace or help fill in for Keenan Allen and your favorite guy Quentin Johnson. So
I like the hire. Like I said, for me, I know people talk about the Chargers job, the cap. They're a little bit old, but they have the most important position figured out, and that's quarterback. And Jim Harbaugh can get the best out of Justin Herbert. If any coach can break the Chargers curse, it's Jim.
are we sure about that? We
I'm
don't know
not
what he
saying
did.
I'm not saying he will. I'm saying if anyone can, it's him.
We don't know what he did to win that national championship, though.
Hey, but he got it.
You do got it.
Hey, ain't nothing wrong. Hey, if
He
you
didn't
don't,
run from the grind.
he ain't run from the grind. He ain't run from
Mm.
the grind. Like that's a great transition. He ain't run from the grind. Now, as we talk about basketball, like it appears that Giannis and Dame were doing after getting Adrian Griffin fired after going 30-13 and having the second best record in
Man,
the NBA.
dog. First off, let me speak on this. When I saw this pop up on my phone screen during lunch, I literally texted one of my basketball homies and said, "The Bucks are bugging. That's wild."
So before we got on air, did you see? So Chris Haynes released like what happened. Did you get a chance to read it on Bleacher Report? If not, I'll give a
No,
quick.
no. I think I was on my way home when this happened.
So in a nutshell, it seems like the biggest, like he's kind of like Adrian Griffin has kind of been getting on Giannis and Dame's nerves. They had an airing out with him, Middleton, and Brooke Lopez, Giannis and Dame to talk about what's working, what's not working. Everything sounded like it went well. They went on a winning streak. And apparently, after they lost to the Pacers in the in-season tournament, this is during that airing out. Adrian's like, "Yo, y'all gonna have to make some sacrifices if you really want to win." To me, after reading what Chris Haynes said, it sounded like they just didn't like him and got him out of there. And Giannis, you better win another ring. You got one, and in Milwaukee, you are a king.
All right,
But
so
getting coaches say what?
You mind if I share my screen real quick?
Yeah, please. But while you do that, there it is.
Haynes, this was a shock to many of us. Why did they make this change now?
Adam, it's funny you phrase it that way because if you talk to members of the Bucks, well, if they'll be honest with you, it wasn't a shock to them. And the reason why I say that is the last week and a half, so the front office began attending the practices and shoot-arounds. And why that isn't uncommon, usually with front office members, they will look at practice from afar, usually from their office. But I was told over the last week and a half, General Manager John Horst and Assistant General Manager Milton Newton, they were actually on the floor, on the sidelines, observing practice. That started to raise eyebrows amongst members of the Bucks and the coaching staff. And we all throughout this season, we've all been hearing about rumbles of guys being unhappy, roles, schemes not being well executed and formulated. And I even me, I reported back in December during the in-season tournament when Bobby Portis called out Coach Adrian Griffin about the schemes and their lack of execution down the stretch. And so there's been signals all throughout this 4-month tenure of Adrian Griffin as the head coach of the Milwaukee Bucks, which led to this point. Now, I will say this. I want to kind of clarify, because I know people will say, well, why are they firing Adrian Griffin now? Because, they hired him in June, and at that point, that was before Damian Lillard, and they were still a championship contending team at that point before Damian Lillard. But the way it was explained to me was that the Bucks going into the summer, they faced the unknown. They didn't know if they were going to be able to re-sign Chris Middleton. They didn't know if they were going to re-sign Brook Lopez, Giannis Antetokounmpo. They didn't know if he was going to do an extension. So they kind of braced themselves to kind of take a step back. They didn't know if they were going to be able to be this potent going into this season. Then the trade happens. They acquire Damian Lillard, and now expectations change, and that made life a little bit more harder for Adrian Griffin. So there's a lot of things that happen behind the scenes, and you can make the argument that he probably wasn't ready for this type of a situation. But again, this wasn't the situation that he originally signed up for.
That's crazy. What'd that sound like to you? What'd that sound like to you?
That sound like dysfunction to me. That's crazy.
So essentially, they thought they were going to lose everyone and hired a coach for a rebuild, and ended up not being in a rebuild, and they were still winning, but
And
just didn't like the way they didn't like the way they were winning, and they didn't like what was going on. And a few close games versus Detroit, now all hell's breaking loose.
Do you want to know what really happened?
Talk to me.
Adrian looked at the end of his bench and he said, "Yo, what the fuck does Thanasis do?" And Giannis said,
he looked at Thanasis and said, "Hey, there's a hiring open for a janitor." And Giannis said, "Hey, GM, him."
He said, "Thanasis, have you ever thought about security?"
Hey, you remember that scene in Fresh Prince when Will was attending that play and he was like, "You ever seen Throw Mama from the Train?" They threw him right from the train. They said, "Listen, boss, Thanasis stays, you go."
You go. And here's the other thing about it,
They
right?
probably sent him. Oh, let me stop.
Yeah, I know what you're about to say. Yeah, let's go ahead and stop. The report is that Doc Rivers has been kind of in the wings helping out, and that he might be in line to be the coach. And my question is Doc Rivers going to make Dame play defense?
Let me tell you something. Why would you trade your best defender, and then fire your defensive-minded head coach just to then complain about the lack of defensive executions when you have a rookie head coach and the newly acquired point guard that you have isn't really the best known defender?
Well, and I imagine, and Chris Haynes wrote about this. Remember, Terry Stotts was on that staff as an assistant, and Adrian Griffin kind of ran him out. And the team didn't like that. Like, Giannis didn't like that. Of course, Terry Stotts and Dame have a history from his time in Portland. It seems like that might have been the catalyst for all this, is when he ran Terry Stotts off. So
where's Terry Stotts now? He might get a chance to come back and be the head coach.
I think it's what Terry Stotts doing right now. He probably just chilling, getting paid. Let's see. Yeah, look like he's just chilling right now. Yeah, he's just chilling.
I think Terry Stotts could be brought back. I could also see.
I don't know though if he'd want to come back and work for the GM that allowed a rookie head coach to run him off like that.
But to play with Dame and Giannis again, I think. Hey, Phil Jackson played under a GM who told him this is your last year.
That's Phil Jackson, and he had Michael Jordan.
He got Giannis Jordan.
Giannis
Jordan and Scotty Lillard.
Giannis throwing around a lot of weight for someone who lost as a 1 seed last year.
Hey, he said he want. Listen, they're also trying to sell some tickets, and they know they mess around and lose Giannis. It's going to be hard to sell seats in Milwaukee.
Well, he signed his extension. He ain't going nowhere.
That's true. Listen, you go out for Doc. You go get Doc Rivers if you want to help you get out that second round, and you tell me how that goes.
Dirty Mac of the year.
What do you think about the Heat trading for Scary Terry Rozier, and then sending the Hornets some picks and Kyle Lowry? Big deal or no deal?
It doesn't matter now, but when the Heat decide to be a championship contender in 2 months, it's going to be a very big deal. When the Heat just come out of nowhere.
Scary Terry and Jimmy Buckets just
elite shit talking. Elite shit talking.
Throwing a little Tyler Hero in there. I don't know.
No, Tyler Hero. Tyler Hero.
They try to go get DeJounte as well.
And then now you got too many people that don't play defense.
You think they'll try to go get DeJounte as well?
That's too many people who don't play defense.
Nah, they got Jimmy Buckets. They got Bam.
You need more than 2 people that can defend because Tyler Hero's a liability now. Terry Rozier, he's not known as a big defender. If one thing Eric Spoelstra's team is going to do is play defense.
That's true. What type of okay? You know what I'm curious to see is what matchups they end up getting the Heat, because I feel like if they get matched up with the teams they've gotten matched up with, I like their chances. I don't know. They find ways to play Miami tough, but maybe it's because they're a more wingy team, so they can match up a little bit better. They find a way to play the Heat tough and the Bucks tough. So
I'm not gonna count the Heat out until they're out.
Me either.
I've learned my lesson.
Another team we probably shouldn't have counted out last year around this time. The Mavs made a trade for Kyrie, and it was a shaky start at first. Now they're looking pretty good. Danny, tell me, what do you see the ceiling really being for Kai and Luka? And then what were your thoughts last night as you saw Luka catch the Holy Ghost on the ground thanks to Jaylen Brown?
Well, Luka decided to get braids and he got dropped immediately. Take that ugly shit out, Luka. You're not here to have braids. In regards the ceiling for this Mavs team, it's probably the 4 or 5 seed. A realistic seed is the play, and they just can't get healthy. So why they can't get healthy? They're losing games they should be winning. I think it's going to come back and bite them at the end of the year. If they want to be championship contenders, they are a Pascal, and I know Pascal Siakam just got traded, but they are that kind of player away from being a championship contender team, but they don't have the assets to go get that player. And that's going to be their problem because Grant Williams has been a bust. Grant Williams ain't done nothing. Grant Williams come off the bench.
Y'all didn't listen to Celtics fans when they would have told y'all that?
Nope. I mean, Tim Hardaway Jr. has been a revelation, but I feel like this is the time you trade Tim Hardaway Jr. Granted, he's 6th man of the year candidate.
Now, are you saying this because the Mavs are on a 3-game losing streak?
No, it's just been kind of the nature of the team the entire year. Like Kyrie's missed a ton of games. Luka's missed a ton of games. Derek Lively has missed a couple of games. Like if they get healthy, I think they can be the 4 or 5 seed in the West. But I don't know if they're going to get healthy in time. So it's going to be this. They'll be the 6 or 7 seed in the play-in.
You lost 4 of your last 6, man. It's tough.
Yeah, like it's tough.
Looking at the Mavs now, they've lost 4 of their last 6. What are they overall?
I think they are. Hold on, they're close to 500. I know last time I checked, they were the 6th seed. Let me see.
24-19.
Yeah, 24-19. They fall into the 8th seed, so they're 3 games up on the Lakers for the 9 seed. So they don't have the resources to go get. Say what?
Is that really impressive considering the fucking Lakers?
That's what I'm like. They're talking about the Mavericks might go try to get Kyle Kuzma. I don't know why. That's not what this team needs.
Kyle Kuzma can play defense and he can hit the 3 and he plays. Listen, I would like for the Lakers to go back out and get.
Well, maybe
Kyle
he just has the stench of DC on him.
You know what's funny? You just watch Jordan Poole out there and you wonder, what was the Wizards thinking, man? What did they?
The Wizards probably thought, hey, He got sucker punched, got in his own head. He just needs to change the scenery, and I 100% understand that.
You thought
And
you think, or should I say, do you think that they took into account maybe the other players that he was playing with and set expectations via that?
yes and no. I think this is where organizations matter. The Warriors are a top-notch organization, top flight. They demand excellence, and I don't think you get that same kind of structure in DC.
Yeah, when was the last time that DC franchise had a 51 season?
Never. They've never had a 50-win season.
Exactly. Listen, last week the Lakers. Let me tell you this: if the Packers, if watching the Packers lose upset me, watching that Lakers game last Friday night was
Mm.
honestly the most mind-blowing thing I've seen in a very long time. You can't script that type of ineptitude, that was a bed shitting. Ladies and gentlemen, how does a professional basketball team go from up 10 to losing by 20? Blowout. Thank you. I said the same thing.
Yep.
Um, Danny, do you think this level of inconsistency is a big deal or no deal?
It's a big deal. Something's going on in Lakerland, and I
Do you
don't know
think
if a trade's going to fix it because I think,
I
and
don't think
everyone's
they make
talking
I don't
about.
really think they make a trade. Honestly, I've been hearing all this Laker trade. Lakers are looking into. Lakers are interested. I think that's all smoke and mirrors. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think they move on from Austin Reeves. I think if they trade anything, it might be like a Jackson Hayes or a. They might move on from Rui, but I don't see them moving on from Austin Reeves. And who knows where they go from here.
I'm
All they
intrigued.
can do is try to get healthy. And hey, Darvin Ham, listen, this is the thing. They beat the Mavs, they beat the Thunder in back-to-back games. Then you bed shit against the Nets, and then you come back and beat up on the Blazers. Who is this team?
Oh, well, then the next game was just an emotional letdown. I can understand that.
You ready to talk a little WWE?
Let's do it.
Listen, Seth Rollins. Let's start there. That's the big news of the day.
Yep.
Torn ACL out.
MCL, not ACL.
MCL.
His
Torn
MCL.
MCL out. He's saying out 3 to 4 months, maybe.
He
Or
said he's
back
gonna be back for WrestleMania.
back for WrestleMania. Do you think he's coming back for WrestleMania? One, and two, if you think he does, what do you think the landscape looks like for a Seth Rollins return?
Well, first, I think it's important to say he said he's not vacating his title, which means he won't defend the belt for 3 months, which is kind of crazy because the whole point of that belt was because Roman didn't defend his belt a lot, so you needed some show with a fighting champion, and now that champion's on the shelf for 3 months, and he doesn't have to vacate the belt. I
Listen,
think
that's why they got Gunther though.
they got Gunther. They started laying the foundation for CM Punk and Cody Rhodes last night. Like they've already enacted their contingency plan just in case Seth isn't ready for WrestleMania. Like that's already in place. So it'll probably be another fatal four way with Gunther, CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, and whoever wins the Rumble.
Do-
Or Rhodes goes and challenges Reigns, and then it's a triple threat match for Seth's vacated title.
Roman Reigns is going to fight for the vacated title.
No. I'm saying either like if Seth can't defend his title, if Seth can defend his title, it'll probably be Rock versus Roman one night, and then Seth versus the winner of the Rumble the second night, and then Cody and CM Punk will have their own match separate of that. If Seth cannot defend his title, it's probably going to be a fatal four way between whoever wins the Rumble, Gunther, CM Punk, and Cody Rhodes, or a triple threat match, CM Punk, Gunther, and whoever wins the Rumble, and Cody will go finish his story against Roman.
You know what? I don't see CM Punk or Cody Rhodes winning this Rumble.
I don't
And
see it either.
it wouldn't surprise me if one of them got eliminated very early
By the other or just in general?
in general.
And
On
then
some
they come
BS.
back and eliminate the other. Those two have to keep that beef going. So someone's going to have to cost someone a shot at the Rumble, at the title. Or those two are the last two standing and they both go over at the same time.
Yeah, I could see something like that. I definitely think they're going to be the last two. Plus, I think it'll be CM Punk, Cody, Gunther, and
Solo.
He entered the Royal Rumble.
I mean, I'm sure he will though. Like I feel like it would be cool to tease Solo winning the Rumble and challenging Roman. Same like with Batista and Evolution.
Okay, I could maybe see that then. I could never see that. I don't know if he's entering the Rumble, but if he is, I could definitely see that. What about the women's side? Who do you got? Who do you think is going to win that one?
Well, who's been getting all the attention?
Nia Jax,
She not
Bianca
gonna win it.
Belair,
She's gonna be the
Becky Lynch.
Becky doesn't need the Rumble to get a shot at the title. Becky doesn't need to win the Rumble. Becky's over forever. The Rumble's here to put people over.
I think it's Nia Jax. I'm going to be honest with you.
I don't know if they trust her that much yet. I don't know if they trust her. Do you think she, on paper and in person, she looks like a comparable champion? Like if she had a belt, you could be like, yep, she looks like a champion. But as a personality, do you think she has the personality to be a champion? Because I don't think she cuts promos well. Like Becky cuts promos great. Bianca,
I like her. I like her heel promos.
I mean, Rhea's she's kayfabe, but when she was a heel, like she still cut great promos.
Yeah, I mean, I like Rhea too. It's here's what I don't want. I don't want a Charlotte Flair or someone like that winning.
Well, Charlotte tore her ACL. She gone for a minute. Charlotte just had surgery.
Oh, prayers up to that woman. But you get what I mean. Like someone who.
And for me, that's Becky Lynch. Like Becky does not need to win the Rumble to be relevant and to be over. She can get a title shot whenever she wants.
True. Well, then it could be someone, but it still has to be someone with some cachet to really make winning it.
Yeah, or maybe a Bayley. Maybe this is Bayley's face turn because that's been teased.
Well, that would in turn mean that she's going to get turned on by Damage Control,
and they handle that at what's the pay-per-view between the Rumble and WrestleMania? Is it Backlash
or Elimination Chamber?
Yeah, they handle that there.
What I actually see happening is they defend the tag titles or they fight for the tag titles on Friday. I think Bayley's going to accidentally cause them that match. Just book that one. Speaking of which, for the Royal Rumble, who do you have winning this fatal 4-way for the undisputed title?
Roman.
You think so?
Roman can't. This is as close as we're going to see him get to losing it, but he can't lose it. Not right now.
How do you think?
Not right now.
Who do you think interferes, Solo or Jimmy?
Jimmy.
I'm gonna throw a strange one out there. I think at the Royal Rumble, Jey Uso is going to have a run-in with one of the three members of one of the other three fatal 4-way contenders, and I think he might save Roman in this one. Maybe.
I think he is. Roman. If Roman loses the belt at Rumble, he's definitely facing Rock at WrestleMania. 100%.
For what, the head of the table?
Yep.
Okay.
But it would mean more if the head of the table had a belt to put on the table. But Rock can't fight for a championship because he can't be a champion, so he would lose that match, and we would know that going in.
True. Actually, who knows? Because he won it versus John Cena that time.
Yeah, but now he's older. He has the USFL, XFL merger coming up in the spring. Like, when is he going to show up?
Netflix thing, he just got voted like.
Yeah, whatever. If Roman loses the belt, he's facing The Rock at WrestleMania. If Roman keeps the belt, he's going to face, I don't know who, but he's going to face someone else. It won't be The Rock.
it's crazy. For 3.5 years, Roman has been champion, and like people always assume that if Roman loses the belt, listen, until I see it, I'm just going to assume that this guy's just going to keep winning.
For me, the question is, who in that locker room has the momentum to win that belt and make you think it's legit? There's only 2 or 3 guys.
How did you feel about that Cody CM Punk promo last night?
I wish they would have went a little deeper. Like I felt like they can't mention anything from the AEW days, but I feel like they could have went a little harder at each other, and they didn't. I think CM Punk wanted to.
For real.
Nah, that CM Punk has said far worse.
He was shooting though.
He was shooting, but he wasn't shooting.
What did you want to hear?
I don't know. I wanted something a little bit more seething. Like when his feud with John Cena was great because he hated John Cena and everything John Cena stood for. And we got his best work.
But he didn't hate him for real though.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, the characters hated each other. Like that's the scene. Yeah, like he's done better. And Cody's always going to be Cody. Like he's going John Cena light. But CM Punk had the opportunity to really, like, he started talking about Dusty, and I was like, yeah. And then it just kind of tapered off, like, no. Shoot him right there. Talk about his dad, his brother.
But he said he's more American Dream than you are. Ooh.
Yeah, but it didn't. I don't think it landed the way he thought it would. It was cold, but it didn't land the way he thought it would land. That needs to be the end of the promo.
Nah, that was fire.
That needs to be. That's the last line. That's the mic drop. That's the I'm more American Dream than you are, and then you leave.
Nah,
you don't stick around after saying that.
You got to let Cody get his bars.
Nope. If that's the bar. That's the bar. That's got to be the last bar.
Well, either way, I think they're both going to be in the final 4 of the Rumble on Saturday night. So we'll see who wins it. I see Gunther being in that final 4.
And he should be. Gunther's going to do the same thing last year. He's going to come in at 1 or 2 and outlast everyone.
Yo, that is enough. Eventually, we're going to have the talk of when do we see Gunther losing that title and to who?
Yeah, because he has elevated that title as far as it can go for him. Like he's ready for the next stage.
Which is why I think he might beat up on Seth Rollins. He could win it. His WWE Championship days are very soon.
Yeah.
See that. We should give congrats to Tara Vanderveer for setting the record for NCAA wins. Yep. Speaking of the NCAA, over on the football side, a bunch of Bama players are transferring out of Bama after the Saban retirement. Danny says a big deal or no deal for Bama.
Big deal right now. It won't be a big deal down the line.
Kellen DeBoer, you think he's going to start getting them rolling in?
Yeah, just give him a year. But that's the thing about Bama. You ain't got a year.
He got a year after what they paid him.
I'm just saying the expectations. You don't have a year.
Just don't go out there and put out some bullshit is what they really saying for that first year.
You don't have a year, dog. You better figure it out now.
Cat scored 62 versus the Hornets in a loss, and Embiid scored 70 versus the Spurs in a win. Big deal or no deal, and which one do you think is more impressive?
Big deal, and you can see the difference between a superstar and someone who's acting like a superstar.
Apparently, the Wolves head coach didn't really like that team's attitude.
Yeah, because they're focused on him chasing Embiid instead of winning.
You hear that story about what do you think about that story about the players hearing about Joel Embiid's points at half, and then in the second half, we're just trying to force feed Cats to make sure he beat the record that night.
Sometimes I forget that the Wolves are a young team because they're one in the West or they're top in the West, and then something like this happens. It's like, oh yeah, they're the Timberwolves.
You think Rudy Gobert has something to do with this?
No, I'm just saying, like, the Timberwolves as an organization, like, yeah, this fits. Like, would this happen in LA? No. Would this ever happen in Miami? No.
Now, Eric Spoelstra would have just took you out long before.
Eric Spoelstra would have cut you, and he would have sent you to the G League. He would have signed you to a 2-way contract right there on the spot, right? Certain organizations, this kind of foolishness or tomfoolery does not happen.
they said go be urban somewhere else in certain franchises. Listen,
Yeah.
shout out to all the franchises out here that don't allow their players to be urban. Charlotte Hornets, maybe Minnesota Timberwolves.
Shout out to you.
Maybe we can learn a few things. Danny, while we're here, what are your thoughts on the taxi squad? Have you given any thoughts to who you might put on there?
Not yet, but I'm glad this will help me when I'm drafting. It'll give me the opportunity to really think about who I draft. Because the only person on my team that's eligible for the taxi squad right now was Zach Charbonnet and Dalton Kincaid, Will Levis. So not many people on my team that are eligible to be on the taxi squad.
Hold on, something's not right. General. Okay. I'm not going to allow non-rookies on the taxi. Players with 2 or more years of experience in the NFL must be activated from the taxi squad.
So it's only for rookies then?
No, you can't have more than 2 years of experience. So hold on. Oh, shit. No, hold on. Let me try someone.
D, while you do that, do you have any thoughts for the evening? As we
Let me
sign
tell you
off?
something. Say what?
So do you have anything for the folks before we sign off?
Listen, ladies and gentlemen, I think the most important thing that I've learned today, don't ever trade with Bam unless you're ready to steal half the house. Don't ever be too good at your job because you might piss some people off and get fired because of it. And secondly, one thing I've been learning as of late that I think has been working out well for me is just embodying and embracing more patience. Some of you people out here, you don't realize you get on people's damn nerves. But you're lucky that other people aren't going to feed into it.
Thank you for the compliment. You can find us. Hold on 1 second. I have to make a note of something. Find us on all platforms at _pod. Speak on _pod. That is X. That is Instagram. That is TikTok. Feel free to shoot us an email at speakonapod14@gmail.com. Again, for those who are watching, it is coming across your screen right now. For those who are listening, speakonapod14@gmail.com. We are here every single Tuesday, 7:30-ish. We have lives. I have to eat dinner. I can't come on here hungry. I'd be very, very angry if I did. You can find me on the.
He'll be hungry. That's fire. Funny.
Yeah, I mean, I know what you mean. And you can find me on the Burn app the X app at Danny Ocean 41. D, where can the folks find you and your great DJ sessions?
Let me tell you some people. You can find me on X, on Twitter, on X, on Instagram, on Twitch, on YouTube, on SoundCloud at LosDMix. That's LOSDEEMIX. Of course, we keeping it player, we keeping it G, we keeping it me. Listen, if you're looking for more of my DJ stuff, I'm working on a new mix coming out soon. Maybe a couple new mixes coming out soon. So just be on the lookout. You dig? Danny.
That's it.
If I had a song to send us out to, it would probably be some Boldy James and Nicholas Craven. But that's a little too much hardcore rap, and I don't think that people want to get out here to drug and filled music. So
it's 9:30 on the East Coast. They're trying to get their groove on. So while you do that,
let's groove tonight.
There we go.
And a spot
See y'all next week.
Groove.